What happens when a Labyrinth movie is made by the creators of Coraline? Well, Curse of the Goblin King is just that. No, we're not talking about the sequel, Labyrinth 2, that keeps getting tossed about. The one I'm referring to came out nearly 20 years ago and is both a creepy and hauntingly beautiful emotional roller coaster of a fantasy movie. Neil Gaiman's Coraline is full of thrills and chills, which are memorably horrifying in their written form, but add in Dave McKean's eerie illustrations in the original Coraline book and the creep factor is certainly kicked up several notches. This dynamic duo has worked on a number of creative projects together, and all of them are stunning and otherworldly, which is the perfect combo for a Labyrinth legacy movie. But how did we get here? Well, according to Neil Gaiman, in 2001, the Henson Company, Lisa Henson, called Neil to ask if he thought Dave McKean would be interested in making a fantasy film for them, something in a similar vein to Labyrinth, although not as costly. Labyrinth cost $40 million back when it was made, and this new project only had a budget of $4 million, so a tenth of the budget but with nearly 20 years worth of inflation, a very tall order. Lisa had liked Dave's short films and was hoping he could direct this project. With the budget as small as it was, paying Neil Gaiman for a script would not be possible. However, as Neil himself puts it, I told her that if Dave said yes to directing it, I was writing the script, and that was all there was to it. Dave said yes. So we've got this amazing creative duo starting out on this labyrinthine spiritual successor with a relatively small budget to fill a very big screen and even bigger shoes. It was pitched and sold to Sony under the working title of Curse of the Goblin Kingdom, after all, according to Neil. And a quick note that Dave recounts the film being titled The Curse of the Goblin King. Regardless, the first story ideas didn't really feature in goblins as we would know them though, which might be why many people don't recognize this film for what it is right away, even though it does heavily feature Fey realm themes, creatures, masks, teenage angst and emotions, and heck, even a hoggle-like character, a trickster puck or puka-type guide in an otherworldly maze. The story itself is a perfect blend of both Neil and Dave's visions, a balance of light and dark, of fantasy, horror, and other mothers. Neil's initial idea was a girl from a traveling theater who found herself kidnapped into some kind of fairyland by a fairy queen, an unreliable puck-like guide, a girl forced to become or pretend to become a fairy princess, while a real fairy princess was forced to try and pretend to be human. This girl's name was tentatively Lenore, as Neil wanted one of those names that meant light. At the same time, according to Neil, Dave had a dream, a mother in the real world who was extremely ill. A world of masks, a girl who had to wake the sleeping queen, a white queen and a dark queen, a balance that was shifting and breaking. The name Lenore was changed to another name, one that still meant light, that is, Helena. The name of the movie, The Curse of the Goblin Kingdom, was also changed to Mirror Mask. Dave and Neil stayed in the Henson family house, which had not changed since Jim Henson passed. For 2 weeks, they were surrounded by all his world, including an early edit of Labyrinth that was hours longer than the theatrical cut, with all the puppeteers doing the character voices instead of actors. I would love to see that. And while they were there, the story unfolded. In the original Labyrinth movie with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly, the maze is filled with every trinket in Sarah's room. The Fireys are a combo of her stuffed animal and the Where the Wild Things Are book. There's the Goblin King statue, of course, the fancy doll in the music box that she gets dressed up as, and other books like The Wizard of Oz that she emulates in her journey to the castle. The hardships and challenges she faces in the labyrinth are things that she's working out in real life, and this fey realm of her creation is the perfect place to get a handle on them, like dating, emotions, hormones, and stepping slowly into adulthood, etc. At the start of the film, she has a strained, angsty relationship with her stepmother. In the Labyrinth movie book, this relationship is more clear and does get resolved in Sarah's mind at the end. Essentially, the Labyrinth is Sarah's creation. In Mirror Mask, the Labyrinth world is unquestionably Helena's creation. She is a very dedicated drawer, and her creations surround her entirely. They are her labyrinth. But rewinding, this movie also starts off by showing us a stormy, angsty moment in Helena's relationship with her mother. Helena has become weary of performing in the family circus, her father's dream, and wants to run away to join real life. This feels like growing pains and a want to stretch her wings to be her own person. It's a tough time in anyone's life, both for parents and for children. Joanna, Helena's mother, probably just wants to hold on to the child she knew and is struggling to let that child grow up. "You're gonna be the death of me," says Joanna. "I wish I was," Helena smarts back, and regrets so severely as Joanna suddenly passes out during that night's show. She is rushed to the hospital, a hungry darkness growing inside of her. There are days of heavy backstory setup before Helena, full of guilt and fearful for her mother's operation that evening, gets into her labyrinth. But once she's in this other world, it's an incredible feast for the senses. The music is eerily circusy. Everyone wears a mask, just like in her father's circus. Fish fly by, buildings are scrawled yet solid. Everything has a dreamy quality to it, and Helena thinks she figures out quite quickly that she is dreaming this. She can look through any window in the mask world and peer into her real bedroom. But, like in her mother, there is a hungry darkness growing and consuming this world too, the tentacled shadow. Helena meets a juggling trickster, Valentine, very early on in her adventure, and I should mention, like in Sarah's room, this same Valentine was in Helena's bedroom trailer at the start of the film, still named Valentine and still with a big personality. He takes on an unreliable guide role in Helena's labyrinth, kind of like a hoggle, whose loyalty you could never quite guess. We find that everyone is fleeing the light city due to the shadow spreading from the dark lands, and that Helena is a dead ringer for the lost princess, the one who stole the charm and tipped this world into chaos. The Queen of Light fell into a disturbing slumber since it was taken, since that dark princess stole it and ran away to the real world. Helena recognizes this White Queen as Dream Joanna and vows to help restore balance and find the charm. She's been feeling such guilt over threatening to run away to the real world and for the harsh words to her mother, and this dream is a chance to set things right. So instead of a missing baby brother, she sets out to find an unknown charm. It makes sense to visit the library, and it's here that we learn about the creation myth. A girl surrounded by white draws this world into reality. When the pages are full, she simply flips them and draws on their dark sides. Both sides, light and dark, are her. Just like both queens, light and dark are different sides she sees in her mother. In the original Labyrinth, the maze was populated with puppets and goblins unnumbered. Mirror Mask has no goblins per se, although that's not for lack of half-trying. In early drafts of the script, some characters were named Goblin something, like Goblin Librarian, to kind of sort of make this about goblins still, given the name of the film then, but the names didn't stick. In the final-ish script, the librarian is made of books and is just named Librarian, for example. But what Mirror Mask lacks in goblins, it certainly makes up for with sphinxes. These cute yet very much disturbing human-faced polygonal winged cats roam the paper world, searching for riddles or dinner. Helena continues her quest for the charm, doggedly pursued by the dark shadow all the while. She gets a key from the heartbreaking giants orbiting, is carried to a very high place by a flying monkey bird, not the Wicked Witch of the West, by the way, but it feels very Aussie, and lands in the borderlands, the space between the world of light and the world of dark. Here is where things get tricky. Joanna appears in the mask world as herself, not as the White Queen or the Dark Queen, although the scene is shot as if she were both the Light Queen and herself. She mentions that she's dreaming up this world while they're poking around in her brain during surgery. And she even dreamed up Helena a boyfriend, Valentine. Both women are sure this is their dream. If it is, it's such a cool healing space, and I love it. If not, Helena tenderly dreams her mother's excellent advice, which helps her realize that she can change this world as she drew it. She calls forth a building that should house the charm. But unfortunately, the dark Helena in the real world also has power here. She can rearrange and even destroy the drawings to suit her. This is how Helena ends up in the Darklands. And Valentine betrays her to the Dark Queen, like how Hoggle gives the Dream Peach to Sarah in the original Labyrinth. Worth noting that there is a peachy apricot fruit in this film too, although its effects are a little more far-reaching. But Helena, betrayed, is now in the custody of the Dark Queen. Compared to the lofty white circus tent castle of light, this castle looks very much like Aunt Nan's old combo complex that Helena's family is temporarily living in. Even though this Dark Queen knows Helena is not her daughter, she'll do, and so Helena becomes a doll, a shell really, filled with whatever the Dark Other Mother wants her to be. This mother refused to let her actual daughter be herself, which is why that Dark Princess ran away in the first place. This is a dark side of parenthood, holding on too tightly to what was. Controlling, smothering, spying. either with the dark little spider eyes or else with a magic mirror. Curious thing about that mirror with the perfectly round eye holes, it's exactly like the circus ticket booth where Joanna usually sits selling tickets before the shows. She can see through this and Helena can see into it. It's clear. However, in this world, it's twisted into the Dark Queen's looking glass. Eventually, Helena learns that, like the ticket booth, this mirror can work both ways. And per her mother's excellent advice, it's staring her right in the face. Not to spoil too much. Another real-world link from Joanna to the Dark Queen is the song that plays in the hospital on the day of Joanna's surgery. As Helena leaves, we hear a few notes of "They long to be close to you." This is the same song that the fantastically creepy mechanical dolls sing as they dress Helena up to fill the role of Dark Fairy Princess. I bring up both of these examples that both Helena and Joanna share in their real life to show the depth and connection both women share in this mirror mask labyrinth. Helena's labyrinth is a mix of two very different sides of growing up, reflected in the lightness, darkness, and everything in between in this world. She must own up to her unkind words to her mother, as well as figure out how to be more of her own person. Her dark self certainly tries on this rebelliousness while Mommy is in the hospital. Ultimately, Helena decides that she wants to return to her real life, the world she was so keen to run away from. After all her experiences, she uses her power and that of the charm to return home. But of course, she's changed, as has Joanna. Life may go on the same, but their relationship has a new layer of understanding. Not all change is bad, and not all change has to be dramatically light and dark. Some healing is subtle. Sarah's labyrinth is about the awkward and uncomfortable nature of growing up, leaving her childhood behind and seeing herself as powerful in her own right, finding her own voice. Helena's story is about guilt, owning emotions, claiming responsibility for her actions, saying "I'm sorry," even if it is to a flying tower, reconnecting with her mother, and of course, working through loss. Helena, like Sarah, also grows up in the maze she created. She realizes that she can't just run away to real life without destroying someone else's, her family's, world. The Dark Princess, her alter ego, is proof of this, both with how she ran away and threw the mask world into chaos, how she treats Helena's real father so poorly, and especially at the end, where she tears the paper world down, rips it and tosses it up into the wind in a fit of glorious freedom. It's easy now to see some labyrinth tendrils in this formerly named Curse of the Goblin Kingdom movie, but Mirror Mask absolutely stands on its own. A new labyrinth for a new generation, in a way. I think the smaller budget also let this film shine in wonderful ways. The whole thing was shot in 6 weeks, 2 on location, 4 on blue screen. This meant so much work in post-production. Dave McKean had 17 recent art student graduates each do their own scenes in the film. Dave later composited their renders so the film would look like his cohesive style. This is such a cool way to open up this labyrinth to more minds and new artists. This movie truly is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Every time I watch Mirror Mask, I feel something different. And to me, that's the power that this story has. Wherever you are in your life experiences, there's a character to relate to and grow with. Whether it's angstily growing up yourself, letting someone else go and grow up, or coming to terms with having to say goodbye to a loved one. Mirror Mask creates such a heartfelt world that it can softly carry you through these feelings and more. It's a simply put story about the complexities of changing relationships, especially that of mother and daughter. Even though Mirror Mask was a Jim Henson production, it almost feels like an independent project, considering the limitations placed on it at the outset. Neil Gaiman, Dave McKean, and all of the talented actors and artists involved with the story made it into something special. I've always had a soft spot for independent films, which is why I've been so excited by everything we're making on Nebula. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend, Philosophy Tube's highly emotional and dramatic new short film. The acting is phenomenal, the lighting stunning, and the little details add so much when you look for them. You can check it out right now using my links below, as well as the behind the scenes and outtakes. I also upload all of my videos to Nebula first, before they are live on YouTube. My relaxing, a bit late bedtime story readings are also on Nebula, without ads to interrupt your sleep or creative flow. If you have a soft spot for independent productions, use my links to see what Nebula is all about. We're able to keep making new projects thanks to members. You can become one by clicking my links or by going to go.nebula.tv/abitfrank. Doing so directly supports me as a creator and will get you a generous offer on yearly memberships. We also offer lifetime memberships and the ability to gift memberships to friends and family. I am so excited for what's next on Nebula, and I think you will be too. Thank you so much for checking us out and for supporting independent creators. If you've seen Mirror Mask, what was your favorite part? Did you know that it was originally supposed to be called something much different? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Thank you for reflecting on Mirror Mask with me. Subscribe so you won't miss the next video simmering in the cauldron right now. Goodbye.